Okay, it is just a couple minutes before 10 o'clock p.m. and we're about to go live on this important hemp update to learn about what has been happening on Capitol Hill here in Washington, D.C. I am your host, Ben Droz. I work with Vote Hemp. I've been honored to work on the industrial hemp issue here in Washington, D.C., and I am very honored to be with you here today. So I just wanted to be able to share an update with you. So thank you so much. You probably got the link through the Twitter party, which has been going on, and I just want to give you an update. So we're just going to keep this update pretty short and sweet. If you do have questions, you can please tweet those questions using the hashtag HempWeek. And as you've been following the Twitter party, there are many other ways. We're going to keep all of the questions. We're going to keep all of the questions on Twitter. So please only ask questions via Twitter, and I am following the Hemp Week hashtag as well. So thank you so much for joining us. There has been so much tweeting all about hemp this past hour, and so much talk about hemp throughout the time, throughout this past week, and throughout the past 6 months, throughout the past year. This has really gotten very exciting very quickly. So I thank you so much for being here today. This, of course, is a special edition of the Hemp Update for Hemp History Week. You should have one of these wonderful brochures. Fits right in your pocket. It has all of the information you need to learn about hemp. I tell people read it on the bus, read it when you're sitting in your 5 minutes early for a meeting. You can very easily just read through this, and it has some great information about hemp. You can see our endorsers, the endorsers of Hemp History Week. We have a great team working on this, and we're very excited about all that Hemp History Week has. And we're right in the midst of Hemp History Week here on Wednesday, June 4th, 2014 at 10 p.m. This is the Hemp Update. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry I keep looking up. That's where the screen is, but I'm going to try to stay with you here. So this week has been very exciting for the hemp movement, and anybody who's involved, even in any way, even anybody who's even mildly interested in hemp, they are very excited this week because we have had so much going on. Not only is it Hemp History Week, as we said, but there's actually been a lot of movement in Congress with industrial hemp, and that's what I'm going to be talking about with you tonight. We have some breaking news from Capitol Hill. I was on Capitol Hill all day today. We're just really doing a really big lobbying effort today, and this is, of course, very big news because we have had so much going on. So I right here have my hemp bolo tie. Then that's great. And I'm going to also be using the computer. We've just been sending a lot of emails. So please excuse me if I'm a little bit distracted, but we're going to try to make this work. We are very excited for all that has happened, and I do apologize that the Q&A feature has been disabled during this chat. That is just because we want to keep this on Twitter. We don't want to have a Q&A on on this Google Hangout. We want to have the Q&A on Twitter. So make sure to tag any questions, hashtag HempWeek. And if we don't answer your questions on tonight's show, we will answer them on Twitter, or we'll answer them in another show at some other time. So please hang in there. If your question is very important, you can email me, congress@votehemp.com. And please do email me, especially if you have actually ever met with your state representative, spoken with a staff member from a congressional office, or are interested in meeting with your congressional representative or taking part in the electoral process and bringing the issue of industrial hemp into the electoral process during this midterm election. So if you have any questions, remember #HempWeek, and if it's important, you can reach out to us, and we really do hope to get back to you. So to get back to the late breaking news, we have spent all day on Capitol Hill because there is an amendment that has been moving its way quickly through the United States Congress. And this piece of language is very exciting because rarely does a piece of language ever move through Congress, let alone a piece of legislation that would allow farmers to grow hemp in the United States for the first time. So the amendment language comes directly from what passed last week during the House Appropriations process. There was an amendment introduced into the Commerce, Justice, Science Appropriations Bill. I'm sorry if this is complicated, but I'm going to go through it. There were 2 amendments offered. One of the amendments, sponsored by Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici from Oregon, which passed with strong bipartisan support and with the endorsement and the help of everybody that called their congressperson that day. That amendment would allow states to move forward with implementing their state laws without any issues from the DEA. Is what it does. It's a limiting amendment that limits the funds that the DEA can use for the purposes of, and then it says industrial hemp, and that language is available online, and we will be tweeting that language during #HempWeek. The language, we are right now actually going to tweet that as the amendment #HempAmendment to see the language of those amendments. That is #HempAmendment. And I'm about to tweet that right now. So you can read the full text of the Bonamici Amendment, which is a wonderful amendment. We want to send a huge thank you to Congresswoman Bonamici, all of her constituents that encouraged her to do so, and everybody in all of the country that called their congressperson to urge them to support the Bonamici Amendment. So thank you so much for making those calls. They are so important. These calls are so important. So that was one amendment that passed. The second amendment that passed was called the Massey Amendment. And this amendment also passed with strong bipartisan support. And that amendment is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Remember, if you're just joining us tonight, if you just started joining us, this is a Hemp History Week presentation with an update, a late-breaking update from Capitol Hill. There's been a lot of activity with industrial hemp in Congress, and this is big news. Big shout out, it is Hemp History Week. We've had a great team working on this, and hemp is certainly big news. Industrial hemp was just written about in the Rolling Stone, which is which is a really big publication. We've also been getting a lot of news on the local level. Just on Monday, South Carolina became the 16th state to officially regulate industrial hemp farming with comprehensive legislation and a regulatory framework that makes it fully legal to grow industrial hemp. And that's exactly what we are working on, is to make sure these farmers can grow hemp. South Carolina joins us as the 16th state. We're very happy that South Carolina is able to pass legislation. A state with such a conservative political position, you wouldn't immediately think that they could support industrial hemp farming, but they did, and with strong support. So thank you to everybody in South Carolina for making that possible. And it is very exciting that we have now 16 states, and there are more states to come. Shout out to Michigan, which has bills moving through the legislature very quickly. Shout out to Stephen Sharp, if you're watching this. He's been a great advocate. And of course, the Michigan Industrial Hemp Marketing Project, Education and Marketing Project, the MyHemp, that group has been doing great. And that is with Everett Swift. Thank you, Everett Swift. So shout out to all of you guys doing your part, because it is so important that we keep moving forward on a state-by-state basis, and really everybody makes a difference. I also want to reiterate the importance of sending an email to your senator immediately. We have already tweeted out the action alert link a number of times. It's all on social media, so please do make sure you just click the button. We're not even asking you to call, because calls are hard to generate. We know you don't like to make the calls. Just click the link, type in your zip code, click OK, and that is actually what we need right now to pass this landmark legislation through the Senate, which will be the first time that industrial hemp language has ever made it to the Senate and through the Senate. Now you might be asking, what about the Farm Bill amendment? And that is a different, that wasn't actually voted on in the Senate. That was only in conference committee. And if you want to learn more about that, you'll have to stay tuned for the next news updates where we can talk about those issues. Also, hashtag your questions to us. Make sure to ask your questions. Hashtag Hemp Week, hashtag Time to Grow, hashtag Hemp History, hashtag Hemp Amendment, and also make sure to tweet at all of us, which is our handles are at Vote Hemp, at Hemp History Week, and just make sure to get involved in any way you can on Twitter, but more importantly, by taking action with your senators. It is 13 minutes into this hemp update on Wednesday, June 4th. Thank you so much for joining us for this special Hemp Week edition of the Hemp Update from Washington, D.C. So if you're in California, you should have already reached out to your Senator Feinstein. You should have already done that, so please do that. Now, Senator Feinstein is on the Appropriations Committee, which is why it's so important that you contact her. So I'm going to not spend too much more time. I want to get right into the Breaking Hemp Update. This is the hemp briefcase that we carried to the Hill, and as what we were giving out today was an update to what's called the Merkley-McConnell Amendment. We want to urge you to vote yes on the Merkley-McConnell Amendment. This amendment, as it reads, will be introduced tomorrow. It will be introduced in exactly 12 hours, and that's why it's so imperative that you take action. In just 12 hours, Senator Jeff Merkley from Oregon will speak on the floor to the full Senate Committee on Appropriations and introduce an amendment that has already passed in the House, and he will ask for the senators' support on this amendment. We are still working out the exact details of how this will all happen, but there's one thing that's for sure, that we need you to contact your senators to tell them to vote yes on this amendment. You can use the standard action alert that we have already set up. We've already tweeted it out. Just click that, and that is completely appropriate as a way to take action. Of course, we fully encourage you to call your Senate office, to call your district office, to get more involved, but that is up to you, and only you can make that decision. So, but please do click, and if you click in the next 12 hours, you will be entered to win a free tote bag full of hemp products, which have been generously donated by Dr. Bronner's Magic Soaps and Satori Movement, and several from Bringing It Home, the movie, and from several other partners during Hemp History Week. They have come together to donate these prize packs, which are only available to you if you take action. So make sure to take action. As far as the amendment language goes, it's somewhat complicated. The situation is unfolding as we speak, and I don't want to tell you too much. Literally just 20 minutes ago, I received an email from Senator Merkley's office. This is coming in as we speak. I literally just texted another staff member from another Senate office. We're now texting each other after work hours. This is really happening very quickly, and that's why it's such a breaking update for you to hear tonight. So thank you so much for being with us tonight. I wanted to share this hemp update, and thank you so much for participating in Hemp History Week, for participating in our Twitter party that we had tonight, and for participating in the movement, because we really can't do it without you. The constituent calls are the #1 most important influence on senators and congresspeople. If you do not believe this to be true, that's okay. I can't tell you what to believe. I can only say that is what we're founded on, is the principle that is the truth, that you can call your senator and tell them what you think about industrial hemp farming, and they have to respond to you. They have to listen to you, and they have to take it into consideration. And that's exactly why it is your duty to call your senators and urge them to support industrial hemp farming. So, without going into too many more details, I want to leave you with that. I want to thank you again for joining us. I am Ben Droz. I work with Vote Hemp here in Washington, D.C. I'm honored to be with you tonight to celebrate Hemp History Week with everybody. It's such an exciting series of events. We have over 1,300 events nationwide, and it's just really inspiring at how much is happening with industrial hemp today. And that's why I wanted to call this this late breaking update, to share with you this update and to also try to inspire you to take action. And there will be breaking news tomorrow, so please stay tuned. You have until tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time to call your senators, and then at 10 a.m. you can call 10:30, but I don't know if it'll even matter, because at 10 a.m. is when the Appropriations Committee is scheduled to convene, and at that point, the senators will be ready to cast their votes on industrial hemp. And so that's why you only have tonight to send those messages to those senators. They will get them first thing in the morning, and they will make a decision on whether or not they will support industrial hemp farming. Here today, here during Hemp History Week, and so it's a very, very special and important vote that is happening in just 12 hours from now. So thank you again for joining us tonight, and please stay tuned, stay active, and stay part of the movement. And we can do this. We will grow hemp once again in the United States. The time will be sooner rather than later, but we need your help in making that possible. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful night.